Trying to mend the pieces of your broken heart. Want to make a change but don't know where to start. Let's go on a journey trying something new. Let's go on the road to finding you. The art spot with Iyanla. Talking relationships, getting down to the thick of it. The art spot with Iyanla.
Welcome to the R-Spot. This is the place we come to examine, explore, and hopefully discover how to make our relationships, all kinds of relationships, better. We want to love and be loved better. We want to know what to do and what not to do to keep our relationships alive and healthy and satisfying and fun. So each week, I take a dive into some common relationship issues and challenges and questions with the intention of providing some things for all of us to do and consider when it comes to relationships. With this in mind, this week I want to share what I'm calling relationship agreements. Things that people in a relationship need to understand, to know, and to agree to in order for a relationship to grow and stay healthy. So first, let's clarify what an agreement is. An agreement is a meeting of the minds and a clearly articulated set of boundaries that both people live by and within. An agreement is harmony in opinion and feeling that allows the parties involved to know what they can expect and rely on. And an agreement is also a negotiated, often legally binding arrangement to a particular course of action. Now, all of that means an agreement is a set of boundaries to which we each give consent so that we can know what is and is not acceptable and expected. In other words, agreements in relationship establish the ground rules and the parameters of behaviors that keep the parties involved in the relationship safe. Now, let me tell you why this is important. When it comes to intimate, loving relationships, or as I call them, love ships, it is absolutely essential that the people involved know what is expected of them and what they can expect from the other person. These things must be laid out on the table and discussed in the early stages of the relationship. Then, if an agreement is broken, there's a place to begin a discussion, a place to start renegotiation, and most important of all, a way to hold somebody accountable for what they have done and not done. We don't hold our partners accountable for what they do and don't do, what they say and don't do. Say. We get mad, we get upset, we get angry, but you got to hold people accountable. And that's why agreements in relationships are important. They're critical, in fact, when it comes to sex, when it comes to money, when it comes to child rearing, even shared duties and responsibilities around the house. Without agreements, you will make assumptions that the other person may or may not agree with, and without a clear discussion, you will never know if there's been a meeting of the minds. So you've got to do that. Did you agree that you would have a monogamous relationship? Did you agree when you would have children? Did you agree on who would pay what household bills and how you would file your taxes? These are all agreements. Did you agree on what church you would attend or if you would attend church at all? I know this may sound totally insignificant, but let me tell you, when I read some of the letters that come to me and I see what people are fighting about and what causes breakdowns in relationships, 90% of the time, I can see where there was no clear agreement, which led to many unsubstantiated assumptions. So let's take a look at some common issues where the absence of a clear agreement can cause all sorts of problems. Here's a big one. If one partner moves into another partner's house, did you make an agreement about who would pay the rent? or the mortgage? Did you agree to how you will handle the household bills? Tell you no lie. I just read a letter where one partner was infuriated with the other because they felt they should not be the only one who buys toilet paper. That's right. Who is going to buy the toilet paper, people? There was obviously no agreement about handling the household expenses. And after 5 years, he was fed up that she never bought the toilet paper. Now, of course, there had to be some other stuff going on, but just the mere fact that he wrote me says that there are some missing agreements in that relationship. It is absolutely essential. You see, often without agreements, partners begin to take certain things for granted. They begin to make certain assumptions that may or may not be true. For example, if you're dating someone, have you made an agreement to be monogamous? Have you made a specific agreement to be intimate only with each other? And if one partner breaks the agreement, have you specified what the consequences would be? I know I don't need to go into the pain of betrayal, of being let down that results when one partner cheats on the other. But wait, just wait 1 minute. If we're not married and we haven't discussed being sexually monogamous or even committed, is it really cheating when one person chooses to engage in intimacy outside of the relationship? Now, I'm not talking about a marriage. I'm talking about dating. And the question is, what was the agreement? What did you discuss when you started smashing up on each other, as they said last night in Love and Hip Hop? Did you ask, are we going to be monogamous? Did you ask, are you sleeping with other people? Did you ask, do you want to sleep with other people? I mean, was there ever a discussion about any of that? Or did you just assume, because the two of you were seeing each other 5 days of the week, that you would have that you wouldn't have the time, the energy, or the desire to be with other people? Listen, if you don't want your heart broken, and if you don't want to be sneaking around, checking telephones and searching pockets or wallets, it is absolutely essential that you get clear agreements up front. Then, what happens when you do have agreements that are broken? When you have the money conversation, the sex conversation, the toilet paper or the household bills conversations, and still one or both of the partners break the agreement. Well, one reason that we make agreements is so that we can have a way to hold people accountable and responsible. And the way we hold people accountable is by creating and communicating consequences for broken agreements. How long has Boo Boo been cheating? And how long have you been upset about it? But what was the consequence for the cheating? How long have you been buying the toilet paper? And what was the agreement? And what is the consequence for not having the toilet paper or not living up to your end of the agreement to buy it? Listen, when I counsel couples who were getting married or were having problems in their relationships, now wait a minute, before you write me, let me say right here, when I counsel couples, which means that was in the past, I don't do it anymore. So please don't write me asking for an appointment. Instead, watch the R spots. All right? Anywho, anyone I counsel, I ask them 4 questions that they must discuss and have an answer to if they wanted me to do the ceremony. And if they could not answer these questions, if they could not agree on how to answer these things, they could get married, but I would not be the one doing the ceremony because I have learned these are critical points. And if they were not married, this was the place that I began coaching with them. Number 1, what are your deal breakers? This means, what are you stating up front that you simply will not accept, accommodate, or tolerate? What are you saying will cause you to exit stage left from the marriage or the relationship? It is important for you to know your partner's deal breakers, and it's important for your partner to know what your deal breakers are so that you have a boundary or prescribed set of parameters that will help you choose and govern your behavior. Now, when it comes to the deal breakers, there must also be an agreement and a commitment to live within those boundaries. So in that way, if the agreement is not kept, you know up front there will be a consequence, meaning I'm out. If you do this, the relationship is over, the deal is off, and that is the consequence. When you know this up front, when there has been a clear communication of the expectation, you get to choose whether or not you're going to keep the agreement or not keep it, knowing what will happen if you don't. You have an agreement and there's a consequence. The other thing I ask every couple, how will you make financial decisions? I ask couples this because money is one of the biggest contributors to breakdowns in relationships. And if you don't have the money conversation, and if you do not have money agreements, chances are you are going to go off the rails within the first year of the relationship, especially if she makes more money, which we discussed in our last episode or in a previous episode. There must be a conversation and an agreement about the money matters in the relationship. And there must be consequences for broken agreements. Listen, I had the experience of living with someone many years ago. And our agreement was that he paid the light bill and I paid the gas bill. We split the rent. Well, my beloved, he always seemed to forget to pay the bill or pay it on time. And when I got the notices, I would remind him, Boo, the light bill's overdue. And he would always say, okay, I forgot. I'll do it tomorrow. Now, how he forget the bill came in the mail, I will never know. But by the time I got the third notice in the yellow envelope threatening disconnection, I would freak out and I'd pay the bill with high pissosity that he had to deal with for the next several days. Now, this went on for many, many months. And each time I paid the bill, I would get more resentful and more mean. So one month, I didn't pay the bill and our electricity was disconnected. So when he came home late one night, me and the children were sitting in the dark. Of course, he had a fit, screaming at me that I could have paid the bill, and I reminded him that we had gas because I honored my agreement. We were in the dark because he didn't honor his. And I think seeing the consequences of his actions were a bit too much. So he paid the bill, and a few days later, we were done. Or shall I say, I was done. Because when you recognize that a person cannot or does not keep their agreements, it is a sign that there is a bigger issue. Now, you can stay and be mad about it, or you can make another choice. I made another choice. Number 3, how will you resolve issues when you're stuck? One of the things I always coached couples to do was identify a neutral third party that they could go to resolve issues when they could not agree. Now, this should not be anyone related to either of you by blood, unless both partners trust that person and are willing to adhere to their words as the final word in settling a dispute. Now, let's face it, there are times when you simply cannot agree. These are times when you need a neutral third party to give you some insight and help you come to an agreement that both of you can live with. So when there's a breakdown and you go to this neutral third party, you must agree that their word is the final word and that you will both line up with it. The party will prescribe the boundaries and the approach to resolve the issue. Now, a neutral third party who will mediate agreements must be something that you both agree to. And you will both trust and follow the advice of this person. That's how you get somebody to step in when you just can't agree. And finally, what will be our spiritual foundation? What will be the tradition, the practice, the faith we will follow as a couple? People. I cannot tell you how important this one is. So many couples go into relationships and even get married without a clear understanding and agreement about the spiritual foundation they are standing on. They go to church for the wedding, and the next time they go to church is for somebody's funeral. If you are living in love, if you profess to love, then you must be connected to the meaning and foundation of love. God is love. How will you incorporate your understanding and beliefs about God in your relationship? I mean, will you go to church? Which church? What faith will you embrace? Will you pray together? To whom? When? Will you baptize your children? Or will you have a naming ceremony? Will you have children without the benefits of marriage? Each of these is a spiritual issue, meaning this is not about preference or opinion. It's about the foundation upon which you stand and how you desire to incorporate that foundation in the life you're creating together. What is the agreement you are making with your partner about the spiritual foundation you're stepping on? Trust me, without a clear agreement in this area, you will have no place to go within yourself when you hit a wall. So, relationships agreement. They keep you safe. They let you know what you can and can't expect. They give you boundaries for behavior and a foundation for the establishment of consequences. Now, of course, all agreements can be negotiated and renegotiated. However, they must be in place. You must have certain agreements to live by and live with if you want to live responsibly with accountability in your relationships. Talk about everything. Agree on what you will and will not do, what you can and cannot accept. Establish consequences for broken agreements up front. And when an agreement is broken, negotiate, recommit, and start afresh. When an agreement is repeatedly broken or dishonored, well, the line is crossed, then you get to enact your consequence and keep it moving. Now, I know this is so much easier said than done, but at least it's a place to start.
The art spot.
Now, for our question of the day, and it's from a man. Dear Miss Iyanla, my wife is constantly and without reason always accusing me of cheating. If I'm late getting home, if I'm on the phone, if I stay in the bathroom too long, she has a hissy fit and accuses me of seeing other women, talking to other women, and being an out and out dog. She searches my phone. She checks my Facebook page. She questions me about everything. She can find evidence that I'm cheating in the smallest thing and convinces herself that what she sees is real when it's not. We have been married for 4 years, and on my mother's soul, I promise you, I have never been unfaithful to my wife. Have I thought about it? Yes. Have I done it? No. Now, what can I do to convince my wife that I'm a good and loyal man? I love my wife, and I want us to be together forever, but I'm getting real fed up real fast. Please help. I want to thank you, Big Bob. That's his name. Thank you, Big Bob, for that letter. And well, beloved, since you've sworn on your mother's soul, I will assume that you are telling the truth. And whether or not you're telling the truth, your wife's behavior is a clear indication that she has some unhealed business from the past and is suffering from a deep sense of insecurity. Accusing you of cheating, whether or not you are, is not the issue. The issue is, what does she want to do about it? What has she said is the consequence of her belief that you are cheating? Sounds to me like she simply wants to beat you up about it, which is why I sense that this isn't about you at all. It's about her past disappointments, perhaps some betrayals by others, perhaps her father, and it's also about her fear that she's not enough or not good enough to have a loving, loyal partner. But that's about her, not about you. Your question is, what can you do? Well, my love, what is the consequence you are willing to lay down for her violations of your privacy and her verbal assaults? Have you told her, I am not cheating, And if you continue to accuse me, I'm prepared to blah blah. Or have you asked her not to search your phone or your wallet? Tell her, if you want to see what I'm doing, ask me. And if you search them again without my permission, I will blah blah. I would encourage you to discuss with her why she believes you're cheating, so that you'll have an opportunity maybe to alter some disturbing behaviors or provide an explanation about certain things. I would also encourage you to establish clear boundaries with her and the do's and do nots of what you expect. Finally, beloved, if you must create a consequence for her behavior, do it. And if that behavior continues, enact the consequence. Unfortunately, if you're dealing with an unhealed or insecure partner, you may be fighting a losing battle. If your partner is working from a place within herself that only she can address and heal, there is absolutely nothing you can do. However, since every experience is a lesson for you, my question would be, why are you in relationship with a woman who doesn't trust you? What are your issues relating to trusting yourself or needing to prove yourself to others and not being seen for who you really are? Because it doesn't seem like this woman knows you. Trust me, beloved. Trust me, beloved. There is something going on within you and within your relationship with yourself that has attracted a partner who challenges your integrity. Let me ask you, did you have a hard time, or did you feel you could never do enough to please one of your parents, maybe your mother? I'm just wondering. Figure that out. Talk to your wife, lay down some consequences, and I'm going to pray with you that this shifts real quick. Hope this helps.
The art spot.
Now, here is our Hallelujah Truth for today. The great philosopher Nietzsche said, I'm not upset that you lied to me. I am upset that from now on, I can't believe you. And Mama Maya Angelou said, when people show you who they are, believe them. I always say that life is giving us the information we need to make informed decisions. So it makes no sense getting upset when you discover that someone is who they showed you that they are. And at the same time, you must know that people are doing the best they can. Perhaps they can do better. Maybe you want them to do better. But when you see how they do what they do, only you can choose if you want to participate. Choose for your highest and greatest good. And believe people when they show you who they are. Thank you for joining me for the R Spot, and I want to encourage you to subscribe to the Iyanla Vanzant YouTube channel so that you'll get a notice every time we put up a new episode. Also remember to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to join my mailing list, then go to www.iyanla.com. I've got some free gifts out there for you too, so be sure to sign up for the mailing list today. Until next time.
Trying to mend the pieces of your broken heart. Want to make
Blessings to all of you sister women out there who are wondering how you can get to do some work with me. I want to encourage you to sign up for the Wonder Woman Weekend now. This year, Wonder Woman will be held October 27th through the 29th in Bethesda, Maryland. But I want you to begin registering now so that when you get to the final hour, you'll be all set and ready to go. Now, what exactly is Wonder Woman? Wonder Woman is an opportunity for you to come together, to heal, to grow, to learn in a community of like-minded women. Now, let me just say this. If you're coming to see me, if you're coming because you think that I have some magic bullet that will change your life, save yourself the trip. But if you're coming to do some work, if you're coming to find out how to move forward in your life, if you're coming because you are ready to do the work required to become your greatest self, then go to www.iyanlasFixins.com InnerVisionsWorldwide.com. Click on the link for the Wonder Woman weekend and sign up today. You can make a deposit and work out a payment plan so that you will be with us for a glorious weekend that will fix you so that you can make all the necessary fixes in every single area of your life. Wonder Woman Weekend, October 27th to the 29th. Go to www.innervisionsworldwide.com and hopefully I will see you there.